Okay, next up in the trap is Kratom withdrawals and CBD Oil. Okay, so I've had Kratom withdrawals before, and the first instance was when I was taking more, probably double than what I've been taking throughout this past 10 months. And the withdrawals lasted for about 3 days. Restless leg syndrome, of course, mostly at night when you're trying to sleep. There is like an anxiety in your chest, you know, from any withdrawals, I would imagine. That thing, the body's, where the fuck's my fix? Where is it? Where is it? So it's around the heart, the solar plexus and the lungs, isn't it? So there's that. And that comes about mildly with alcohol for me. I'm going to be stopping that as well. Probably having my last one today because my appetite's gone, and to take away at least the craving for alcohol. And it's, you know, when we are aware of the subtleties of our bodies, we can see what the body is craving. Now, for 1 whole year, I never had anything, and during the course of that year, after I suppose the initial pangs, I found a deep peace, and I would feel my body in the absolute perfection of a condition. There was no craving or desire for anything. My body was pure, and I could just sit in the greatest of comfort for hours and hours at a time in meditation. And I meditated throughout that whole year for 5 hours a day, and I read for 10 hours a day. And I found that freedom gave me, or should I say that emancipation from those things, gave me the freedom to observe and feel what a pure body is like. How many of us have had that feeling and have monitored our bodies in the purest of states? Those that don't crave anything. You don't crave chocolate, you don't crave spicy food, you don't crave alcohol, you don't crave drugs, you don't crave nicotine, you crave nothing, because your body has gotten over all of those cravings, all those addictions. Now, I don't like being addicted to anything. It's not in my nature to be so. And so there has been times when I would get a little bit carried away with 1 or 2, let's say 2, because averagely I'm often drinking 1. But there was, for 7 whole years, I never touched a single drop of alcohol. But then you see, if he's kind of like, I feel like, you know, a bottle of that, and then it tastes great, right? And then you fall back into it, and then before you know it, you're buying them every day, and then you're thinking to yourself, oh, I've not got no beer, or best have some beer, you know, because well, I don't know what I'm going to be like if I've not got that beer, you know, because I love a bottle of Newcastle Brown before my evening meal, because it enhances, it accentuates the satiation of the food. It brings about, of course, it gives you an appetizer, an aperitif, you know, as the French call it. And so I like to have an aperitif. I like the whole act of cooking whilst I'm drinking and working up the appetite. If I'm not drinking, I don't really have an appetite, to be fair, and food doesn't taste anything like as good. So it's kind of like, what are you going to do? Are you just going to be experiencing bland meals unless you're really, really starving, you haven't eaten, you know, in 20 hours. And I've tried that also, you know, for a lot of years, having the 18-hour fast. And so, okay, it looks like I'm going to be going back onto that again. So I will be appreciating my food because the body is going to be starving. Going to be cutting out the alcohol. And I have allowed my body to see what the effects of the abstinence of Kratom is. Just cutting it. Now, in the past, when I was taking more, I was taking probably 4 heaped teaspoons a day, when these days I'm only taking 4 just slightly beveled teaspoons, because I found that taking too much, it doesn't give you any more euphoria. It just makes you tired, and you don't want to do all the things that you would normally do. And then you're in the house and you're in front of the computer, you just start to get like this, and so you end up having, you know, 2 or 3 naps in the daytime. And I'm like, what the fuck? Can't just fucking be wasting my life away like that. So minimise it. But when your body has been used to things, it wants it. So I would give it. And I reduced the level just to a beveled teaspoon and said to myself, that's all you're getting, motherfucker. You know, the spirit within me that wanted Kratom's a spirit, people. Just like it's the spirit that I'm drinking now. There's a spirit that wants satiating. Let's have no bones about that. All these things are spirits that want satiating. The withdrawals before lasted about 3 days. Restless legs and sunny them. And maybe then it's just a little bit, you know, for a couple more days. So, I've only been cold turkey now for 24 hours or maybe, you know, 36 hours, something like that. In the daytime, it's more manageable. But in the evening time, when you go to bed, you wake up, you know, it's like someone's turned the light on. And you're wide awake. It's like, what time's it? Oh, it's 1 o'clock. Really? How long have I been asleep? 1 hour. Oh, why have you woke up? Oh, you feel this thing. Okay, because you want that shit. Right, well, I haven't got any of that shit. And so, what do? Well, last night what I did, I have some motherwort. Some herbal tea thing, which is supposed to relax you a little bit. And I thought on one day when I had 2 heaped teaspoons of this motherwort and drank it, that it gave me some sort of chilled, sort of starey, you know, euphoria, a little bit like Kratom. And I thought, okay, well, I could use that as a Kratom replacement. So then what I did was, I thought, well, I'll make a batch of that up. I made it up and put it in the fridge. And I thought, if I get cravings during the night, I will drink half a pint of that, and hopefully that will, you know, take them away. So, cravings at 1 o'clock. Okay, I drank half a pint of that. And I did manage to fall asleep 20 minutes after, and for the next few hours, I'm having the bizarrest dreams you can ever imagine. Really bizarre dreams, people. I'm in a different world. I'm in lots of different worlds where there's a lot of different shit going on, and you're doing crazy ass stuff, and it's in full technicolor, and it's just fucking wild. It's like you enter into another you in another dimension. I believe that's what's happening. You know, and what strengthens that belief in me, which I've had for a long time, is that now quantum physicists are even taking very, very seriously the notion of many worlds. How we just split into many, many worlds all the time, trillions and gazillions of them. And I'm like, well, I've always maintained that that's where we go. Because I've often gained some sort of sentience, lucidity in dreams, and I'm like, what the fuck is this place? Who the fuck am I? Of course, you can't see yourself, so you don't know whether you look the same or you just entered some other body that is you in another dimension. So all these crazy, crazy dreams. And, you know, there's lots of them which are pretty sinister, whereby you're being hunted for your head. And you're in a world whereby there's gangs hunting you for your head, just because to put your head on a spike. Well, what's all that about? You know, and then they've got big glistening, shiny machetes, and then you end up fucking fighting with them, and you know, you escape with, you know, an inch of your life and all this different stuff. And then, of course, there's different varieties of encounters with people that you knew before in a different world. They're the same people, but they're in a different world. And you've gone into their world where they're living a different life, but it's these people. It's not like you've gone into familiar grounds. You go into another world. So, fortunately, these days, it gets light, let's say 5 a.m. And so, if I go to bed at midnight, or probably even 1 o'clock, because I will finish up on the computer at midnight, and I'll meditate for an hour, and then go to bed at 1. So then I've only got, say, like 4 hours to toss and turn and have these crazy dreams, which are highly energy draining and frustrating. And you just wake up out of one and you go straight back into another, and it's like, you're turning over all the time, you see, because your body's in withdrawal, and so you keep coming out of your dream, and that's why you remember your dream, because you're at the very least bordering on being awoke, and so you know, you're more conscious than you are unconscious, and so all that stuff to contend with. And I'm thinking, well, that's only the first night. I've probably got another 2 to contend with. How can I bake that? So I thought, well, I'm not going to order anymore. I'm not going to, you know, be weak. I'm going to see this through. I want to know what happens, and then of course I can speak about it. And also, you know, it is a lot of money. It's probably about 130 quid for a couple of months, something like that. It's not cheap. And then, of course, when I take that, then I'll take a beer, and that's not cheap either, £2 a bottle. So by the time you drank a bottle, you know, it's £60 a month. And then the Kratom, let's say, it's £60 a month also. So you got £120 a month. Well, you know, you can use that money for other things. Yeah. So, I stopped into a health food store, and I went to see if they've got anything which kind of like abates the opioid withdrawals if I find it too frustrating in the middle of the night. And so I then bought a bottle of this for £18. And this is on the low level. This is 120 milligram, when they sell high level at 240 milligram. And you spray it on your tongue, you leave it on in your mouth here for 2 minutes before you swallow it. And you recommended to take it 4 times a day. Well, I already took 3 squirts within the space of an hour, because the first one did nothing. Then second, you know, I started to feel a bit tired. So I went and did my afternoon lying down sleeping meditation with the headset on, 432 hertz. But I do that every day in any case. And today I cycled a 14-mile round trip because I had to go to the dentist. And so that always is exhausting. 40 miles on an old bone shaker bike is some distance, you know, at 61 years old. So that was normal, so I couldn't really gauge whether this made me tired or not. But I'm going to try it earlier. Well, when I feel this stuff going on, I'm just going to see, because this sort of alleviates opioid withdrawal symptoms, apparently, but I haven't felt it so far. And it's supposed to aid sleep, so I'll have a couple of squirts of this before I go to bed, see if I can get out of those stupid dreams and the constant moving and just feeling, you know, out of sorts. You see, the beautiful thing about Kratom is, and how we can easily slip into dependency on it, is that when you take that, you just feel beautiful. You're completely relaxed and you're in heaven, and your mind's just, oh, it's so wonderful and blissful. And then when you listen to like godlike music on your headset, 432 hertz or 525 or something like that, wow, it's a double dose of heaven. So it's easy to want that, and I really liked it, and I did it every day, and I've done it every day for several years, several years back, and then, for the past, I don't know, 9 months or something like that, I've been doing that. But then, you see, I'm thinking, well, maybe I should have a change. Maybe I should have a change, because I don't like getting into this routine, I don't like getting any level of dependency. What else would I do with my time? Because, as I said the other day in a video, in the summer we have 16 hours of daylight in the height of summer. And only, let's say it gets dark at 10, and so you've only got 6 hours of sleep. 6 hours of darkness, because you got light in the northern hemisphere at 4 AM, and, it's completely dark by about 10. So, and I find that I'm sleeping less and less, because I tend to always wake up at dawn. It doesn't matter what time of year it is, I wake up at dawn. My circadian rhythm is in tune with the earth. When the sun comes up, that's when I get up. Only I don't go to bed when the sun goes down. Going to see how this goes. And then, because I've bought it, I will keep experimenting with it. One of the side effects is, the adverse side effects, it gives you the shits. I've got the shits. Another one is that it suppresses your appetite. I've got no appetite. Okay, so already I've got two things that I don't want. And if I'm going to be eating, then all of a sudden I'm going to be, shitting it all out within the next hour. Well, that's not going to be serving my body at all, is it? So, got to get off this shit then. So, going to see a little bit of experimentation with it. I'll give several shots to see if it makes me a little bit delirious or not, just to see. So I can speak about it, so I know, what the symptoms are with me. Now, the thing is, you go online and you look for, the adverse effects and the positive effects, and of course they're as long as your arm, and, they're all down to the individual, and they vary so much, and so there's no point even looking, other than just having a broad spectrum of something that maybe you have some awareness of. Now, if I didn't have the awareness that this causes the shits, I'd be thinking, well, maybe just the anxiety of the body's causing the shits, because the body's anxious because it needs something, and so when we have anxiety, then the body shits, doesn't it? The cortisol kicks in. So I would have thought, oh, it could have been that, but now the chances are it's this. I can maybe eradicate or write that one off. So gonna see what happens. Next couple of days, and then to see how often Kratom is calling me when I get these times in the day when I would normally take it and I find myself completely alert. Well, I don't feel like lying down having the meditation. I've done everything I normally do in a day, and I've still got 8 hours of light to do more stuff. What are you going to do? I'm thinking, well, okay, this may be an ideal opportunity to start writing my second book. If you've got all that energy, then use it, instead of sleeping away or sedating yourself, We're a long time dead, aren't we? So, there you have it. Doubtless many of you have got stories to tell about Kratom withdrawal. Many more horrific than the one I've just told you so far. So, we'll see how that goes. And of course, if you've got any natural remedy, or just share your shit, okay? So that's that.